Another week has come and gone. We are here with you once again at church, and I know you're still at home. But one day soon, and it's getting closer, we're going to be together, and we're going to get to have fun. We're going to get to worship Jesus together. We're going to get to play games together. It's going to be the most exciting time ever. So keep looking forward to it. Stay with us. Don't leave us, because we want you to come back to us. Again, we have Shaylee Phillips with us, and we have Grayson Abram with us. And you guys are finished with school, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All done?
Mm-hmm.
Got the virtual school all done?
Yep.
Got straight A's?
Yes, I got my report card.
Straight. Oh, you already got your report card?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, have you already got your report card?
Nope.
No, but I'm sure you have straight A's too. I have no doubt with you guys. Yours truly still have a little bit more work to do, but it's getting there. It's getting there. So last week we talked a little bit about summer plans. Has anything changed? You gonna do anything fun now?
Yes, so we're supposed to go boating this week and stay in a log cabin, and then we're also supposed to go to Mill Creek and ride the trails. So hopefully those don't get canceled.
Hopefully not. Grayson?
If Disney World doesn't work out, we might go to Destin with my cousin at the beach.
Play in the water. That sounds like a fantastic time. Well, we're going to hope and pray, seriously, because everybody needs a vacation. They need to get out of their homes, do something different, and enjoy some family time, that things are going to work out for you guys, and things are going to work out for you guys. But right now, we're ready to get right into worship. So you guys get ready and worship with us.
Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. He is higher than a skyscraper, and He's deeper than a submarine. He is
I raise a hallelujah. My weapon is a melody. I raise a hallelujah. Heaven comes to fight for me. I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm. Louder and louder, you're gonna hear my praises roar. Up from the ashes, hope will arise. Death is defeated, the King is alive. I raise a hallelujah with everything inside of me. I raise a hallelujah. I will watch the darkness flee. I raise a hallelujah in the middle of the mystery. I raise a hallelujah. Fear, you lost your hold on me. I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm. Louder and louder, you're gonna hear my praises roar. Up from the ashes, hope will arise. Death is defeated, the King is alive. Sing louder in the presence of my enemy. Sing louder, louder than the unbelief. Sing louder, my weapon is a melody. Sing louder, heaven comes to fight for me. Sing louder, in the presence of my enemy. Sing louder, louder than the unbelief. Sing louder, my weapon is a melody. Sing louder, heaven comes to fight for me. Sing louder, I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm. Louder and louder, you're gonna hear my praises roar. Up from the ashes, hope will arise. Death is defeated, the King is alive.
Hey Shaylee, what's it time for?
It's time for the Spark video. Let's watch Michelle and Timothy together.
Hey everybody, my name's Timothy,
And I'm Michelle.
and we're here to continue this series called
Giant.
Hear ye, hear ye. Ladies and gentlemen, lend me your steers.
I think you meant to say ears.
Lend me their ears? Why would I want to borrow their ears? I have two perfectly good ones on my head right here.
Never mind. What are you doing up there?
I'm about to give a speech. You know, we're at the part in our Bible story where David and Goliath are about to face off. David and Goliath are both about to make a big speech.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that part.
You better not forget about this part. This is where Goliath says all sorts of mean things to David. Like, your breath smells, you're ugly, your mom addresses you funny.
Hey, my mom picked this outfit. What's wrong with that?
Well, nothing. I really didn't mean it like that. Oops.
That's fine. But I think you have your facts wrong about the story. Goliath didn't tell David that his breath stinks. He told him that he was gonna die and that he didn't have a chance in winning the battle.
Man, that sounds like what happened to our friend Evan the other day.
That's right. Remember how Evan decided that he was gonna confront the school bully, Rusty? Evan told Rusty to meet him on the playground at recess. That's exactly what happened. The two of them faced off against each other.
Yeah, Rusty got into Evan's face and said, "You little pipsqueak, I'm gonna punch you so hard you'll be crying for a week." And he also said, "I like to play with dolls."
Wait a second, did he really say that?
No, I made that last part up, but he did say that he was gonna punch Evan in the face.
Evan must have been really scared. I know I would have been.
He was. And do you know what he said to the bully?
What, did he threaten to hit him too?
No, not at all. He walked right up to Rusty and said, "I'm not afraid of you, Rusty. I don't come to you in my own strength. I come to you full of the power of God."
Wow, so he really decided that he was going to take on this bully, not only in his own strength, but in God's.
That's exactly what David had to do against Goliath. In your lesson today, you'll learn what David had to say to Goliath in his pre-fight speech.
When we decide to take on our giants, we need to remember that we need God's power. Not only is it a physical battle, but it is also a spiritual battle.
Until next time, I'm Timothy.
And I'm Michelle, and we'll see you next time on
Giants.
All right, guys, it's time to learn that power verse. So let's get together, watch our video, and let's see who's going to be louder. Is it going to be the boys or is it going to be the girls? The most important thing is that we get God's word in our heart. So here we go. Let's watch our video together. Oh, Maple. You better be careful because you're going to knock an eye out with that axe.
Don't worry, God gave you 2 eyes for a reason.
Yeah, that makes no sense at all. But seriously, why are you so happy today? Sure seems a whole lot better mood than you were last week.
I'll tell you why I'm so happy. See that?
Oh, ooh, shoo, weed, yes. This is nasty. It smells like marshmallows and BO and acorns.
It sure does. You want to guess what it is?
Well, I know exactly what it is. It's a bath mat.
Technically, you're right, but you're actually holding a piece of Big Bertha.
Did you say Big Bertha? You're talking about the sober-toothed, big monster squirrel that you've been getting into with? This is hers?
Yep, that's her wig.
A wig? Ew! Now my hands reek. What do you do? What does she have a wig for? This is so gross. Why would a sober-toothed monster squirrel need a wig?
I'll tell you why. Years ago, that monster squirrel got in a fight with my daddy. He took his axe and shaved her head bald. So she stole that bath mat from our bathroom, and I got it back. Woohoo!
Are you serious? So all this craziness between you and the big monster squirrel has been over that bath mat?
Hey, my grandma gave me that bath mat. I had to go through a lot of trouble to get it back to its rightful owner, thank you very much.
Oh, well, exactly how did you get it back?
Well, first I had to admit the truth. There wasn't any way I was going to win the battle on my own. I had to admit that God was in control, and only He would help me win.
Well, that seems like a great idea to me.
Thank you. And God gave me an idea. I remembered that saber-toothed squirrels are allergic to marshmallows. But, of course, you already knew that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Everybody knows that squirrels are allergic to marshmallows.
Yeah, of course. So I get me a big old barrel of marshmallow fluff and roll it over to that tree. And here she comes, Big Bertha, all 400 pounds of her buck-toothed fury. I was almost scared, but then I remembered.
Remembered what?
God is on my side. So I raised my axe and busted open that barrel of marshmallow goo. It squirted out and it hit Big Bertha right between the eyes. And she huffed and puffed and went into a sneezing fit. And then that bath mat shot right over the top of her head like a rocket. It was hilarious.
Well, Maple, this has got to be the strangest, weirdest, scariest story I think I have ever heard. But you know what? You're still the hero.
Oh, shucks. No, I'm not. It was God's idea. Remember, boys and girls, when your giant is defeated, God's the one who gets all the glory. And that's the way it should be. Now, if you'll excuse me, I gotta go wash this thing. It's starting to smell like my papple's infected toe. This is Maple Sawbrook, reminding you, never sniff your papple's infected toe, no matter how much it pays you. See ya!
I don't know about you, but let's just watch the power verse.
Hi everyone, I'm Tanya, but most people call me Tiny Tanya because I'm pretty tiny. Okay, I'm really tiny. Most of the things that are normal size to other people are ginormous to me. Well, I've got a huge list of things to get from the warehouse I work at and ship to the customers of Amazon.com. But before I do, I'm going to teach you today's power verse. Today's power verse says, "The Lord your God is before you. He will fight for you." Deuteronomy 1:30. That power verse is massively awesome. Now I want all the boys to stand up and say it with me on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. The Lord your God is before you. He will fight for you. Deuteronomy 1:30. Tremendous job, boys. Now it's time for the girls to stand up and say the power verse with me, Tiny Tanya, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. The Lord your God is before you. He will fight for you. Deuteronomy 1:30. Great job, girls. You can sit back down now. Today I have to ship these giant lifesavers to a girl named Meg, I can't read that. Meg something. Anyway, today I'm feeling pretty weak. I've had to lift a lot of giant stuff this week, and I'm just not sure that I can carry everything to the shipping room on my own. But I'm so glad that I don't have to do it all on my strength. I can rely on God because He's on my side. Now it's time for everybody to stand up and say the power verse with me on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. The Lord your God is before you. He will fight for you. Deuteronomy 1:30. That was great, but I better get going because if these items don't get shipped, the customers won't get their purchases in time. I better bam! I'll see you later, boys and girls. This is Tiny Tanya. Bye-bye.
Guys, it's time for game time. You're going to need a few supplies to play this game. You're going to need a pencil. Great, a pencil. You're going to need a cracker. Cracker, go get them. And you're going to need a pop. Not a balloon, but a soda pop. Now you go get all your supplies because it's going to be a competition between us and you. I hope you got all your supplies because we are ready here. So the deal is, let me give you some directions. It's going to be Jonathan against Grayson here. So we're going to see which one of these two are going to win, but they're racing against you guys. So this is the directions. You're going to start with your pencil and you're going to crack it or snap it. So then you're going to snap that pencil, you're going to eat the crackers, and you're going to pop this soda and chug it, all right? So the deal is, you can't start the crackers until your pencil is snapped. You can't drink the soda until your crackers are gone. And the first one who finishes it all is the winner.
And eat all 3 at the same time?
You can eat all 3 at the same time. Just
Okay.
down it. Are you guys ready?
Let's go, bro.
Are you guys ready at home? Because here we go. And 5, and 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Oh. Oh, bro.
Are y'all making this big of a mess at home? They've got it everywhere.
I'm in trouble here.
Gone. Let's go. Let's pop it. Here, go. Ooh. Aw.
Don't take it easy on my nephew. Ain't
I
gonna
think
happen.
we have a winner.
Hey, you guys! It's time for the What's Up video. Let's go see what Skittles is doing, and let's get out into the video.
Let's go!
Ah, yeah. What's up, peeps? It's me, the SKI to the double TLES, Skittles in the hizzy, and I'm ready to tell you what's up. Today, we are talking about fighting with God's power. So every time somebody asks you, what's up, you tell them, I will fight with all his might. Sometimes you feel like you just don't have a lot of strength. You feel puny compared to your giant.
Oh man, I feel puny.
But that's okay, because you don't have to take on your giant with your own power. You got God on your side. He will help you defeat that nasty old giant. So anytime somebody asks you, what's up, you tell them, I will fight with all his might. And that's what's up. I got a rainbow of flavor, and I'm living for my savior. Skittles out, baby.
Wow, that was a pretty fun game. But now it's time for our Bible story. And you guys know that we've been on this curriculum called Giants and how to defeat our big problems. And our story has been on this little boy. Y'all kind of help me remember his... David, yes,
Yeah.
David. And he was against this big guy, man. Goliath. Was he really all that big, guys?
Yeah, he was
Over 9 feet
tall.
tall.
That's pretty big to me, right?
Yes.
So, we're going to get right into our story. And here is David. We'll go back one. There we go. He comes out and he is helping. No, he wasn't helping his brothers. What was he?
He was bringing food to him.
He was bringing food to them.
And
That's right.
brothers were on the front line of the army.
He was. That is right. Now it's all coming back to me. So now David is out bringing food to his brothers, which are fighting on the front line, which was fighting against the Philistines. The Philistines wanted to fight the Israelites so that they would become slaves to them. But he also said if the Israelites would win, then the Philistines would become their slaves. Like, really? They were pretty big people. But, so, David, when he comes out to give his brothers food, what happened after that?
Goliath was making fun of all the army and God.
That's right. Goliath, he overheard Goliath being a bully and making fun of God. And so David decided that he would run, right?
No.
No.
He said, I will fight this giant.
Oh, yeah, I will fight this giant. And then King Saul said, I don't think so. He's a little bitty guy. Send him to my tent. And so what did King Saul tell him when he got to the tent?
He said, if you're going to fight, you got to wear armor.
That's
you have
right.
to be protected.
That's right. Grayson, we put that armor on you, that stuff, and it was really too big. So, yeah. And so now David's like, King Saul, I can't wear all this. I don't need all that. I would not be able to fight the giant with all that. All I need is what?
5 stones, which is 3, but we're pretending it's 5, so 5 stones.
That's right.
And a slingshot.
And a slingshot. Now, I don't know how you would fight a giant with a slingshot and 5 little stones. But because Goliath had what?
He had a sword and all kinds of armor.
That's right. So he was ready to fight this battle. So all of a sudden, they begin to meet each other. And so David comes to Goliath, and Goliath steps out, and Goliath kind of looks at David, and he's like, whoa, this is what you've sent me, is this little bitty guy? And he begins to tell him, he says, you know what? What am I? A dog? You know what? I'm going to feed you to the birds. And then all of a sudden, we hear David's big speech back to Goliath. And that speech is pretty intense. And so here he is. This is Goliath telling his big spiel. But here is David with his most powerful words ever. And he begins to tell Goliath, he said, you know what? You come to me with a sword and a spear, but I come to you in the name of the Lord. And today, God is going to defeat this battle, and he is going to rescue his people. And you know what, guys? We're going to look a little bit more intense in David's speech, and we're going to learn from that speech today. So, we're going to get right on into the points. This was our memory verse. The Lord your God is before you. He will fight for you. And guys, we always have to remember that God is always on our side. So, and he always will be. That is right. So we're going to do the listen up. We're going to go right into our points today. And the very first point I want to talk about is admit the truth. Now, before we get into a lot of that details, I kind of wanted to go back in and talk about some famous speeches. So there was some famous speeches that I'm sure you guys have learned in school. And if I say, hear ye, hear ye, does that bring any remembrance back to you?
Isn't it when someone comes up and it's like trying to get the people's attention, like the king's gonna come?
That is exactly right. Back at the time when a king was getting ready to tell an important speech or tell his people something, someone would come before him and they would say, hear ye, hear ye. And that's how they got everybody's attention to get ready to listen to the king. What about, there's a president who did the Gettysburg Address that was a pretty popular speech. Either one of y'all know who that president was?
Was it the 16th president? Abraham Lincoln?
Abraham Lincoln, that is exactly right. Abraham Lincoln did that famous speech. There's another one that starts off with, I have a dream.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure everyone knows this, but it's Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King. So all of those are some very famous speeches that we've all learned from history. But David had a fantastic speech when he confronted that Goliath. And we're going to break it down just a little bit today. And the very first thing is David admitted the truth. The very first part of his speech, he says, you know what? You come to me with the sword and the spear. So David had to acknowledge that Goliath was a lot bigger than him. That he was just a small guy. He wasn't a big, huge guy. He wasn't a big, experienced soldier or anything. He admitted the truth that he was just a little guy, and he knew that Goliath was bigger than him. But he wanted to admit that, you know what, you come to me with the sword and the spear, but I come to you
kind of like Maple saw that when she was talking to the saber-toothed squirrel. She said she had to admit the truth that God was the one who's helping her win the battle.
That is correct. So, the next point is remember God is always on your side. We have to always remember that God is going to help defeat those battles. Sometimes when we face giant problems, some people tell us, you know what, if you don't talk about it all the time, then maybe you don't think about it. So I remember when my Aunt Ruby, she was diagnosed with cancer. And the more she talked about it, the more she felt more sick. But the more she talked about how God was going to heal her and God's blessings on her, the less sick that she actually felt. So sometimes people say, don't talk about the negative all the time. Talk about the positive. And so that was what exactly my Aunt Ruby was doing. She was remembering that God was still on her side, even though she was going through this really bad sickness.
I would like to say something. So in our classroom when we were at school, my teacher, we would do this thing called roses and thorns. And so the rose was like something positive that's happened, and the thorn was something negative. And sometimes you could say, well, someone maybe would have two thorns, and she was like, well, let's think about the positive. So it's always good to think about the positive, even though maybe you have some negative things that are going on, but positive is probably better, or is better.
Absolutely. That was a great example. And then with this, it says, remember, God is on your side. This is exactly what David was doing. In the second part of his speech, it says, today the Lord will conquer you, and I will kill you and cut off your head. He literally had to remember that God was going to be on his side, that God was going to help defeat this battle, and he was going to help defeat this giant. And then our next point is, when the giant is defeated, God gets the glory. You know, and that's exactly what David said to Goliath. He said, you know what? Once I've defeated you, God's going to get the glory for this. He is not going to deny that. He didn't want the glory for himself. Sometimes when we do something really successful, or we do something really good, and we tend to say, oh yeah, God helped me through that, but you know what, I did this and I did that. Are we really giving God the glory for it, or are we really giving ourselves the glory for it?
We're giving all the glory to ourselves.
That's right. So, but David wanted to remind, you know what, when he defeated the giant, he was going to give God all the glory. And that's what we should do. When we begin to defeat those battles and we ask God to help, we need to remember that it wasn't us that defeated those battles. God was with us. He was on our side, and we need to give God the glory for all of that. And I do remember when my Aunt Ruby did pass away, and yes, she did pass away from cancer. God did not heal her, but she always knew that God was by her side. She never gave up on God. So the other thing was, when the day that she passed away, I never will forget this, she sat in her bed and she repeated the 23rd Psalms. She gave God the glory for giving her the sickness so that she could rely more on him than she ever did before. And guys, sometimes during this COVID-19, I hope we're always looking for the vaccine, thinking, we're going to find a cure to this, that, this is going to take care of it. I hope and pray that whoever does find the vaccine for this COVID-19, they don't take the glory for it, that they give God the glory for helping them find a vaccine that can help our country, help our nation defeat this little, big, huge giant, so to speak, that we are all facing today. So boys and girls, I know that you have a lot of depression sometimes. There's a lot of anxiety of what's going to happen, what's not going to happen. What is school going to look like next year? What is our summer plan that may or may not happen? We've got all those things. There's loneliness that people are facing. Those are all big giants, but they're little giants to God. We need to remember always that God is on your side, and he will always be with you. But the most important thing is, when those giants are defeated, we give who the glory? God.
God.
God. Boys and girls, we have enjoyed being with you today. I hope you've laughed with us and had some giggles and fun, got some energy out. I hope you learned something today. Remember, God is always on your side, and He will always help you to defeat those giants.